ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to the Digital Forge Broadcasting Network. However you're getting us out here tonight on this lovely, with a little bit overcast, Thursday night. Whether you're out there on Twitch, out there on YouTube, or even iRacing Live, we thank you for tuning in. We'll be bringing you the Super Late Model Series in the Semi-Auto Racing Association's Irwindale Outlet Mall 125, here at one of the most controversial short tracks in America. We're going to go to the playing of the National Anthem when we come back. 125 laps of super late model race action to come your way. So stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning into the Digital Forge Broadcasting Network. I'm Dustin Caldwell, and this lovely Thursday night, the Semi-Auto Racing Association GM Parts XPerts Super Late Model Series is set to go racing here at Irwindale for the Irwindale Outlet Mall 125. Current news here, though, folks, as we are standing by, some issues out there on the track here tonight, a little bit of issues on the iRacing server. Drivers are having a little bit of a difficulty connecting to the session, so we may have to see how this is going to play out. Kind of on hold for the moment, as a few drivers are able to get in to the session and get some laps turned here tonight. But if you have been tuning in for the last 4 races, folks, what a doozy of a series this has been. We've seen 3 weeks in a row of green-white checkers taking place in the last 3 weeks, and a very pivotal moment last week at Lanier when driver Derek Robinson decided to make a late race pit. Unfortunately, a caution flag come out with about 7 laps to go. Robinson had made a late race pit, costing him a chance at that to be up front for that one-lap shootout, and it was Bill Martin taking victory last Thursday night. For those of you out there who know about Irwindale Speedway, this is one of the most controversial short tracks you'll find here in America. out in California in the Los Angeles Basin area. They are looking to build an outlet, hence the name Outlet Mall 125, a little play on words there. They are looking to build an outlet mall, looking to tear this track down, and unfortunately, everybody fighting to try to keep this track alive. In an article placed out here today, saw that Irwindale will look to continue a 2017 season as they don't have enough vendors to fill that outlet mall. Yeah, I believe it's a 60% fill ratio that they need to be able to fill it. So therefore, we're looking at a possible 2017 season at this point. So folks, we are going to go to a waiting screen for momentarily. Looks like there is a new session that we got to take place and get into. So we'll be back right after this. So please folks, stay tuned and we'll be right back.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SARA Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Thursday evening. It is here at Irwindale Speedway. It's the Semi-Auto Racing Association Super Late Model Series, GM Parts, sponsored by GM Parts Experts. As we bring up the sponsors on the screen, you'll see it, gmpartsexperts.com for your quality GM parts needs. Check out gmpartsexperts.com. Callaway Investments, hydespride.com, H&H Sign Supply, Area 52 Designs, and Toxic Media Solution are your sponsors, folks. I am Dustin Caldwell. Thanks again for bearing with us here this Thursday night on the Digital Forge Broadcasting Network. We got this 125-lap race set to go underway momentarily. If you were tuning in earlier, there was a little bit of connection issues with some of the drivers trying to get into the session. Therefore, we had to go to commercial break unexpectedly, but we are back now and ready to take on race number 5 here in this Super Late Model Series. Mentioned earlier about Irwindale being a controversial track. Let's take up the race information there up on your screen here at this half-mile outer track. Irwindale known to have their little quarter-mile inner track as well as a figure-8 course. And tonight, take a look at that weather information. 73 degrees in the air with 48% humidity. Some overcast with a little bit warmer track temperature, about 5 degrees warmer than the air. 78 degrees is going to make it kind of tough to see some side-by-side racing through the turns, but these drivers have been able to find lines that we thought weren't there. So anything can happen, and these guys definitely can put it down on the track. So we are set and ready to go racing. Just drivers getting some practice laps in here after they qualified earlier tonight. And some of the guys you want to watch out for here this evening, Joe Schaefer Jr., Derek Robinson, two of the drivers we saw last week that looked really solid. There's the number 6 of Schaefer Jr., currently tied with Robinson, second in points. Your series points leader down there on pit road, Josh Dietz, is another one we'll have to watch out for. And apologize here on the refresh of the paint schemes, as time frame did not allow for all this to happen, so we're just going to do it live on the air. Make sure these drivers like Tim Bills here in the H&H Sign Supply 37 Chevrolet gets his paint scheme shown out there. A lot of great hard work done in for those paint schemes, and we definitely want to honor those. So momentarily, they will look to get us over to the grid. And the number 86 of Josh Dietz. That is your series points leader, folks, with a little bit of spin out there to the inner part of the track. That's actually the inner part of the track, the pit road that you're seeing here. The concrete barriers on the left. Also, the lines that you see inside bearing the figure-8 course as well. You see the start-finish line there for the figure-8 track, right there by Dietz's pit box. So just about 5 more seconds, I believe, remaining. We got from race control. We should be going to the green flag. If you'd like to know more about this league, folks, up in the top right-hand corner, RaceSARA.com is their league. These guys, for you race fans out there, are running open setups. That means everything is able to be adjusted on these vehicles. And it looks like they have moved out of the practice session and are going to be making their way to the grid. Let's take a look at the gridding action here tonight. On the pole, the number 66 of David Krikorian set a fast lap time 16.71 to the outside. The number 87 of Derek Holhausen, week 1 winner, just 2/100ths of a second off of the 66 of Krikorian. Ty Spearman, the winner in USA International Speedway, the number 92 machine, will start inside of that second row, matching pretty much the time, just a little bit off of Holhausen's time. To the outside of that second row, Ty Majeski will be starting in 4th position. Rounding out your top 5, the number 5 of Matt Rolfe will be back there in the 3rd row on the inside lane. Tim Bills will be rounding out that third row in 6th position. Trevor Edwards, Jeremy Adams, Joe Schaefer Jr., and last week's winner, Bill Martin. The number 65 machine will round out your top 10. Wade Ruckert, Ian Lane, Ben Nile, Josh Dietz, Brad Carpenter, Mason Dunn, Devin Rogers, Scott Naslin, Connor Blaze, Cody Erdman through 20, and Kenneth Drake, Cameron Hobbs, Dale Owen, Clay Snyder, Michael Baxter, Matthew Eddy, Derek Robinson, Scott Dunlap, and Russell Berry. 29 cars in total, folks, here in Irwindale for race number 5 of the GM Parts XPerts Super Late Model Series, and the pace car starts to take them around the track for the first of a 2-lap pace. Here we go, pace car into the pits.
Green, green, green.
And there's the green flag, and take a look at Krikorian. He takes off like a rocket as the green flag flies. And we are underway here at Irwindale. Holhausen back in second position with the 92 of Spearman behind him, really on his bumper. Near 3-wide action out of turn number 4. Take a look at the 91 of Majeski back there behind Spearman. Rolf has to go down to the apron. He's going to swing it out towards the wall. As they come down the front stretch, Rolf across the start-finish line. 37 of Tim Bills to the outside of the 32 of Trevor Edwards. Down the backstretch into the third turn. The 32 to the inside, that Menards machine. Working his way now into the front stretch. That battle there for the 6th position slot as Bills is holding on just by a nose. But it looks like Edwards is going to have the advantage coming out of 2. Single file line for the first 5 positions. Take a look at Krikorian. What a beautiful gap he has got, close to 0.8 of a second as he heads into lap number 5. Holhausen trying to shake Spearman off his bumper as he comes out of turn number 2. Works his way into turn number 3, the middle groove, the preferred line here tonight. And it looks like the 91 of Majeski was taking a peek to the inside of Spearman, coming out of turn number 4. Still side by side is Edwards. He's now looking to the inside of Rolf as they head into turn number 3. That 32 Menards machine out of the 4th turn with a nose. He's going to be scored in 5th position here on lap number 7. Tim Bills looking to the inside of Rolf and Edwards. And it looks like Edwards has now moved up into 5th position right in front of the number 5 of Rolf. Take a look at the number 6 of Schaefer Jr. making his way through the field. He's digging hard. Up into 9th position to the inside of the 65 of Bill Martin. He's going to go around just by a nose. Into the front stretch now towards lap number 9, and Schaefer Jr. has half a car length over Bill Martin. Into the backstretch now, they're working their way into the 3rd turn. Oh, the 86 of Dietz, your series points leader, is going to give a little bit of bump to the back end of Bill Martin. He's going to go to the inside and take a look at that 86, working the lower groove through the first couple turns. Will come right up beside the 65 of Martin. Still looking to the inside, trying to find something. Oh, he's going down on the apron. Very aggressive move, and he's going to pull up a nose, but that outside lane that Bill Martin's carrying will have the momentum coming out of the 4th turn. Krikorian now into turn number 3 here on lap number 11, just ahead of the 87 of Holhausen. 2 powerhouse drivers here in the GM Parts XPerts Super Late Model Series, and Krikorian had as far as a 7 to 0.8 of a gap lead, and take a look at that, almost under a 1/4 second of a gap now The 87 of Holhausen is closing in right on the 66 of Krikorian. You gotta wonder if he was holding on to the grip too much and has burned up some grip on that right front tire, as now the 87 is looking to put some pressure there on the early leader here in this race. Across the start-finish line into lap number 14 now, David Krikorian, your race leader. Total of 13 out of the 14 led, and a little bit of slide. Starting to feel the pressure from the 87 of Holhausen. Here comes Holhausen to the inside. Out of turn number 4, takes a peek, looking for a passing opportunity on the 66. As they work their way through turn number 2, the 91 of Majeski's going to look into the inside. Oh, somebody's hungry for the race lead. Here comes the 87 of Holhausen. He's going to dive it down, and we've got a battle for the race lead. And it looks like, yes, Holhausen crosses the start-finish line before Krikorian, and he takes over the race lead here on lap number 16. Ty Majeski is going to follow the 87 of Holhausen to the race lead, as well as the 92 of Spearman. And now David Krikorian, who has led pretty much the first part of the race, 14 laps, is going to fall back to 4th position as Ty Spearman to the inside coming out of turn number 2. Ty Spearman now will get around the 66. Here comes the 32 of Trevor Edwards. So Holhausen goes to the race lead, picks up his 3rd lap lead on the night. Keep an eye on the 91 of Majeski. He's going to be a formidable opponent here for the 87 of Holhausen. And if you folks have watched this series from the opener, Holhausen is known for late race finishes, as he was able to surpass Tim Bills in race number 1 after Bills had dominated 90 laps in that first race. Holhausen, and Majeski takes it nearly to the grass, and he's going to fade it out. Will he get there? Not in time. Holhausen hangs on to the race lead and picks up his 5th lap, and he's going to slide. Contact between Majeski and Holhausen. Holhausen's going to fall back in a hurry, back to the 5th position slot in the battle with Krikorian. These guys are battling hard, and now Spearman to the outside of Edwards. Ty Majeski goes to the race lead, and the 92 of Ty Spearman back there behind him. Haven't seen Majeski yet this season, and he is looking solid here at Irwindale. Starts to pull away to 4/10 and climbing toward that half-second mark as he comes out of turn number 2 here on lap 22. Trevor Edwards and Ty Spearman battle hard for 2nd position out of turn number 4, and Ty Spearman looked a little bit loose on that higher groove, was able to hold on to 2nd position into lap 23, and that 32 Menards machine is determined. Oh, contact made right there before turn number 3. And Trevor Edwards now looks to work his way back into 2nd position. And it looks like Spearman had a little contact with the wall, the posse teammate. Number 92 machine trying to hold on to that outside groove. Beautiful battle for 2nd position. Really getting to see the dynamic of some of these drivers, whether they're running the extreme high line or down to the very low, almost touching the grass at some points. It's amazing to see they can make that work, trying to pull up what we'd call a Bristol slide maneuver. And it looks like Edwards still stays to the inside of Spearman, but he's going to have 2nd position this time by into lap 26. Majeski looks to move into lap traffic now, just ahead as we saw last week at Lanier. Lap traffic was a pivotal point that drivers were able to catch up to Derek Robinson, who had almost an 8-second lead at Lanier last week before he made the late race decision to pit, which pretty much cost him the race. Back from the depths, the 87 of Holhausen now looks to the inside of Trevor Edwards in the Menards machine. Across the start-finish line, and it looks like Edwards is going to lose out just by a splitter, if you will. The invincible splitter there, not necessarily formidable on the super late models as it is the Gen 6 cars, but Holhausen nevertheless goes into 2nd position. And take a look at this, now into the top 5 to the inside of Ty Spearman is Bill Martin, last week's winner. Joe Schaefer Jr. second in points, tied with Derek Robinson. Looks to the inside of Ty Spearman as they are battling hard for that 5th position slot. Spearman's going to hold on to it. Schaefer Jr. to the inside behind the 65 of Martin through turn number 2. Into the backstretch, Joe Schaefer Jr. is going to get by Ty Spearman. Can he hold on to it? Working that lower groove, and Matt Rolfe. Almost a little bit of agricultural racing down there out of turn number 4. And it looks like Bill Martin is going to be the guy next that Schaefer Jr. is going to try to take on and move up into 4th position as he continues to dig through the field. As we show you head out of turn 4 into the front stretch, Schaefer Jr. tonight started 9th on the grid, currently running 5th. And I tell you what, this boy is digging hard, trying to carry that 6 machine towards another victory here in the series. Side by side, Edwards and Martin now battling for that 3rd position slot as Bill Martin to the inside of the Menards 32. Martin now into the backstretch, will take over 3rd position, and here comes Schaefer Jr. Contact into turn 3. And Schaefer Jr. is getting physical to move into 4th position as he crosses the start-finish line. Boy, he is working that inside groove, and he's finding something there as now he looks to battle with Bill Martin, and he's going to move into 3rd position. So the number 6 T4X Racing of Joe Schaefer Jr. crosses that start-finish line into lap number 35 in 3rd position. Holhausen battling with the number 30. That's lap traffic there of Scott Naslund. Naslund in the Championship Racing Association League there. Joins in tonight. Modified Madness Tour driver. Drove the light modifieds in that series. Will try to put the super late model on the track. Currently being passed there by the 6 of Schaefer Jr. Majeski now as we take a look up front. Total of 16 heading towards 17 laps led as he crosses the start-finish line into lap number 37 with a 1.4 second lead over the 87 of Holhausen. And take a look at this. Right behind Holhausen, here comes the number 6 of Schaefer Jr. Well, this car is digging hard again. Started 9th on the grid here tonight. And into lap 38, he's going to be putting the pressure there on Derek Holhausen. To the inside, down the backstretch. Trevor Edwards. To the inside of the lap traffic car, Scott Naslund. Matt Rolfe looking to do business here with Ty Spearman in the battle there for 6th position, the number 5 machine. We got a big cluster of cars into turn number 3, and Bill Martin looking to make it 3 wide. Trying to get around Trevor Edwards as the lap traffic up to the high side into the front stretch. Trevor Edwards is going to go by and hold on to 4th position. Here comes Matt Rolfe to the inside of Bill Martin. Again, working that apron line, working really well for the 5 machine. Carrying the NOS logo on his car this week. 3 wide action out of turn number 4. Naslund to the high side. Rolfe to the inside is going to get by Spearman. So Matt Rolfe here tonight. Number 5 machine into the backstretch. Started 5th. Falling back a little bit. Almost out to the outside of the top 10. Has climbed his way back up into 6th position. Now behind the 65 of Bill Martin. Take a look at this. Schaefer Jr. gets around the 87 of Holhausen. The 11 machine's going to dirt track it through turn 4. Kenneth Drake in that 11 car got really loose after a little bit of contact. Was able to save it. It was a little dirt track slide. Take a look at this 3 wide action out of turn number 2 with the lap traffic running high. Trevor Edwards and Bill Martin still continue to battle it out for that 4th position slot. Staggered action into 1 and 2 as they will fold up like a chair out of turn number 2. Trevor Edwards trying to hold on to the outside as Rolfe will go by Ty Spearman moving into 6th position. The 65 of Bill Martin in 4th. Trying to climb up there and hold on to that 4th position slot is the 32 of Edwards. Running that outside groove's going to lose out in 2. Here comes the 65. And Bill Martin now has Matt Rolfe to deal with on the inside. Rolfe gaining some momentum on that lower line. Looks like it is working well for him as he hugs that apron. Out of turn number 2, will fade it towards the wall to the inside of Edwards. Joe Schaefer Jr. now looks to pull away from Derek Holhausen in second position as he faces the number 27 of Michael Baxter. Lap traffic up ahead to the outside in his hunt to get towards Ty Majeski. Currently 1.1, we'll say 1.13 to 1.7 to 1.2, if you will. The gap between Majeski and Joe Schaefer Jr. here on lap number 48. And take a look at the battle here as Trevor Edwards to the outside of Ty Spearman may lose out on a position as Spearman looks to get into 6th position to the inside of the 32. Your pole sitter here tonight, Krikorian, the 66 machine, currently running 8th position, started on the pole as he works his way out of turn 4, and looseness from the 92 of Spearman. He's going to lose out a position, and the 66er Krikorian will go by, moving into 7th position, Edwards to 6th, and that relegates the 92 back to 8th. Schaefer Jr. through turn 2 looking to close the gap on Majeski. He's within eyesight now, under 3/4 of a second gap in the 6 machine. On the move, can he catch Ty Majeski? Joe's Racing Products Pathfinder Chassis is the sponsor right there on the 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. He's got a nice 1.1 second gap between him and Holhausen at this point in time as he crosses into lap number 53. Looking to get under 0.6 of a second this time by in the backstretch, closing in on that 91 machine of Ty Majeski. Into the front stretch now. Let's jump back and take a look at some action here as Holhausen out by himself, and we'll see the battle there between Martin and Rolf. Rolf has now moved into 4th position, the number 5 machine with the 65 machine to the inside, and take a look at Bill Martin diving it down under the apron out of turn number 4, trying to find some momentum. But folks, we have seen it here tonight. If you're on that high line coming out of turn number 4, you're going to have that momentum. And Rolf was able to stay in to that 4th position slot that lap. So Martin learning from that as he's trying to find some momentum. Crosses that start-finish line, chasing down the number 5 NOS machine of Matt Rolf. Jumping outside of the top 10 as we follow the number 89 of Jeremy Adams. Take a look at that. One of the drivers running the extreme high lines here tonight. As the number 72 of Ben Nile back there behind him. And Nile, we've seen a top 10 driver here early on in the series. Looks to the inside of Adams. Ian Lane, one of the drivers in the late race incident last week out of turn number 3 at Lanier, bringing out that late race, the controversial late race caution, should say, that created the big hiccup. Fortunately, again, the mix up there for the Robinson team, pretty much ending his night at a chance of getting victory. As we follow the number 8 of Derek Robinson down on the lower groove. Back there in 11th position. He's one of the drivers, few drivers that likes to start from the back and really works his way up from the front. Does give you extra points in doing that, folks, but it's not as easy as it sounds. Short track racing position, qualifying position, is pretty much 7/10 of your chance of winning. Another 30%, obviously the important 30% of skill and maneuverability in your car, knowing that you have a good setup. And this guy right here, Derek Robinson, watch for him after lap 80. I imagine he's going to be not only inside the top 10, but battling up in the top 5. Falling off the pace just a little bit, Joe Schaefer Jr. has now fallen to 0.8, almost 0.9 of a second behind Ty Majeski, as Majeski looks to be in cruise control mode coming across the start-finish line into lap 63. The 91 machine, again, making his debut here tonight in the GM Parts XPerts Super Late Model Series. Doing so in a good fashion. And with that maneuver out of turn number 4, hugging that wall, you can definitely tell the 91 machine sensed that the 6 of Schaefer Jr. was catching him, so now he's playing hardball up over to a second gap lead over the 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. Matt Rolfe looking to put the pressure on the 87 of Derek Holhausen in the front stretch, as it looks like Matthew Eddy, the 88 machine, one of the top 3 finishers last week at Lanier, is lap traffic to the inside this week, running 21st position currently in the Lucky Dog slot. Monster Energy, the logo there on that machine, as Holhausen will go by the outside in turn number 4. Rolfe looking to pass now by Eddy as the 87 of Holhausen out with no contenders on either side into turns 3 and 4. Holhausen tonight, one of the drivers that started up front with the 66 of Krikorian, trying to hold off that 5 NOS machine of Matt Rolfe. Bill Martin, is ahead of Trevor Edwards as we blend the two names there. Here on lap 68, the 65 of Bill Martin in the backstretch. Looks to be about 1.2 seconds ahead of the 32 of Trevor Edwards. Ty Spearman, after that turn 4 loose incident, still holding on past 8th position, has moved into 7th ahead of the 66 of Krikorian. Behind Krikorian, your pole sitter here tonight, the 86 of Josh Dietz, your series points leader. Just a 9-point lead. Oh, he's going to make some contact there in turn number 2. Tim Bills now looks to the inside, and it looks like the 86 machine doesn't have the setup he wants here tonight, as the car is looking to be all over the place. Tim Bills, the 37 machine, H&H Sign Supply, the sponsor there on that car. Looks to see some gappage ahead. Will he go for it, as now the 66 of Krikorian to the inside. That's going to open up the gap for Ty Spearman to pass on the outside. Near 3-wide action as Josh Dietz looks to the inside of Spearman. Oh, near 3-wide action out of turn number 2 as Krikorian down low is going to give way to the 86 of Dietz and the 92 of Spearman. Oh, the 86 of Dietz. Oh, they're going to make contact.
All right, man. Caution is out. Caution is out.
And as we've seen, Dietz looking really loose. Spearman was looking really loose. And that's going to bring out the first caution flag on the night. Let's go back and take a look. Out of turn number 2, take a look at this action, folks. As this is into turn 1, Dietz is going to go way low. As we show you right there, Dietz is going to start to climb the track, can't save it. And by the time he gets up there, it's too late. He's going to peg the 92 of Spearman up into the wall, which creates a chain reaction off the wall back into himself. Unfortunately, that will bring out the first caution flag on the night. Contact between Ty Spearman and your series points leader, Josh Dietz, and also your pole sitter here tonight, the 66 of Krikorian, is going to be caught up in that mess. The lucky man, however, this guy right here, the 37 of Tim Bills, was able to escape right behind the action as it unfolded. And as we see down pit road, majority of the drivers down there getting their pitting action going on. And Schaefer Jr. makes his way off the pit road. Derek Holhausen now coming off as well. Jeremy Adams looks to be up front. He's making his way down towards his pit box. So the lineup's going to shake up just a little bit, folks, as it does. Let's give a shout out to tonight's sponsors yet again. GMPartsExperts.com, your quality GM parts can be found here at this website, GMPartsExperts.com. Callaway Investments, HydesPrides.com, H&H Sign Supply, Area 52 Designs, and Toxic Media Solutions are your series sponsors. If you'd like to know more about the Digital Forge Broadcasting Network, you can find us on the web, forgebroadcasting.com. We're also on Facebook, out there on Twitter and Instagram. We do post post-race articles up on our Facebook page, as well as multiple iRacing groups out there. As the pace car now heads in, folks, we're ready to go back to the green on lap 79. Schaefer Jr. will be to the outside as Rolf. As Schaefer Jr. looks to be setting that pace, folks. Here we go. There's the green flag.
Green flag, green
it's
flag.
back in the air. Schaefer Jr. to the outside of Rolf, battling hard for the race lead. And the outside line carries the momentum into the backstretch. And Schaefer Jr. hangs on to the race lead. Picks up his first lap lead of the night. Let's take a look at the race summary, folks. After the pitting action we just witnessed, total of 79 laps completed, 5 lead changes here tonight, 1 total caution. As they cross the start-finish line, this is what your top 5 looks like. Schaefer Jr., Rolf, Majeski, Martin, and Trevor Edwards. Majeski now looking to battle to the outside of Rolf in turns 3 and 4. Rolf's going to dip it down towards the grass yet again. Finding some momentum there, battling with that outside line as Majeski's working it really well. Again, Majeski here tonight, total of 56 laps led on the 91 machine. Schaefer Jr. started 9th on the grid and has now worked himself into 5 total laps led on the night. Into the backstretch, Majeski and Rolf battle hard for that second position slot. And it looks like the 91 is winning out the battle now, closing the gap in on Schaefer Jr. Out into the front stretch, Majeski carrying that momentum on the high line is going to hold on to second position, but here comes Rolf. Rolf to the inside, Bill Martin, last week's winner at Lanier. Behind the 91 of Majeski. Into the front stretch yet again towards lap number 85. And a nice battle here between Rolf and Majeski. Into the backstretch, the 91 machine trying to edge out the 5 of Rolf. And will do so into turn number 3 as Rolf has had enough trying to dip it low to pick up some momentum. He's going to maintain his line to hold off the 65 of Bill Martin. Ty Majeski now looks to run down the 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. Closing the gap under 0.2 seconds into turn number 3.
All right, man, caution is out.
And we're going to have another caution flag out on the field. As we jump back, and it looks like the 2 of Scott Dunlap's going to be involved in this one. So let's run back to replay and check out the action as it unfolded. Following the 2 of Scott Dunlap. To the inside of that 21 machine of Devin Rogers, and Rogers is just going to turn the 2 of Dunlap, and that's going to send the 2 cars spinning around towards turn number 1, nearly missing the track exit right there up to the top side. Say, well, let's back it up one more time, folks. We'll take you on board with the 2 of Dunlap. Get you up front to the action. Another look at it. Fortunately, things kicked over to the live session, so that is Dunlop there. You see the damage there on the right end of the right side of that vehicle. Heavy damage out there. Quarter panel really pegged up as he got turned by the 21 of Rogers. Now keep in mind, folks, the last 3 weeks in this series, we've had green-white checkers. The question is, will we see number 4 here at Irwindale? Very exciting race to watch from green to checkered itself. These guys in the SARA League definitely put down some great race action, hardcore race action. Again, for you iRacer drivers out there knowing what the difference between a fixed setup and an open setup is. These boys run open setups and they spend hours upon hours each week getting these cars dialed in, ready to go. So much that they've banded together to make teams to help each other out. Right there, that number 6 is part of one of the major teams out there in the SARA League. Schaefer Jr., part of the T4X Racing. Other drivers like Scott Dunlap, who's ahead of him. Clay Snyder, Russell Berry, Matt Rolfe, Darrell Hamlet, Derek Robinson are some of the T4X Racing guys. Another formidable opponent is the Posse we've seen there. Some of the work, the 92 of Ty Spearman, one of the drivers there, part of that Posse crew. And the lights come off the pace car here into lap 92. We'll be back green on 93. And Majeski's going to get the break that he wants. He'll be to the outside of Schaefer Jr. This is going to shake things up just a little bit. Here's a look at your top 5 as we're heading back to green. Pace car is going to go in 3. Schaefer Jr., Majeski, Rolfe, Martin, and Edwards are your top 5. Here we go, folks. Out of turn number 4 and into the restart box, Schaefer Jr. takes off.
Green
And the
flag,
green flag flies with a nice solid 3/10, almost 4/10 of a second lead. In the restart zone, he got out to the 91 of Majeski as he knows Majeski is going to come hard here in a matter of a few laps. And Schaefer Jr. is going to try to get as much in as he can, if not try to win the race here at Irwindale. And take a look at Bill Martin putting the pressure there on the 5 of Rolfe. Rolfe not in his comfort zone, running the higher line than he would like. And now Trevor Edwards and Holhausen behind him. Edwards looking to the inside of Martin. Nice battle here. Take a look at Majeski to the inside, taking a peek. Is he going to make a move on Schaefer Jr. here on lap 95? Looks to the inside of turn number 4. Into the front stretch, Ty Majeski is putting the pressure on. It's only momentarily. Take a look at that. Out of turn number 2, he's going to be side by side with Schaefer Jr. And Ty Majeski, who has led 56 laps, goes through the grass in 4, comes back out. He's going to lose out and, whoa, nearly causing Matt Rolfe to check up just a little bit into turn 1. Trying a heavy, aggressive move. Pretty much cost him a chance at the race lead there. And now Matt Rolfe to the inside. He's going to come out.
Caution is out. Caution is
Another
out.
caution flag coming out on the field. And a big one there. Ty Spearman and the 4 of Russell Berry look to be involved in that one. Let's dial back the replay. Following the number 4 of Russell Berry around the track. Looks like he might got caught up in the action. And it looks like Ty Spearman, so he's going to lock up the brakes. So the 92 of Ty Spearman involved in that one. Let's run it back one more time and follow the 92. On board with Ty Spearman to the inside of Devin Rogers, to the outside of Josh Dietz. And it looks like he's just going to snap loose there in 3. Self-inflicted wounds there for the 92 of Ty Spearman. That'll bring the 92 down pit road. If you're Joe Schaefer Jr., having these late race caution flags makes it a little bit easier. You got to wonder how much grip he's got left on those tires, trying to battle guys like Ty Majeski, who has been a formidable opponent here tonight. Again, total 56 laps led for the 91 machine. He's going to start in third position to the inside of Derek Holhausen. Matt Rolfe will be to the outside. Give some credit to that 5 NOS machine of Matt Rolfe. He's been able to find comfort in the outside as well as the hardcore inner side, as we'll call it, all the way down under the apron, nearly touching the grass at times. We'll have to see what the 5 machine does here on this restart. Race summary as it appears, folks. 101 laps completed out of the 125. 5 lead changes, 3 total caution flags. Pace car into the pits. Ready for the restart into lap 103. Here we go. Into the restart box. And there goes Schaefer Jr.
Green
The
flag,
green flag flies into lap 103. And Schaefer Jr. screams out to over a quarter-second lead over the 5 of Rolfe. Rolfe's got to hold off the 91 of Majeski in the backstretch. Who's to the inside of Bill Martin's going to get some contact from Trevor Edwards. And that 65 machine's going to get loosened up. That's going to allow the 87 of Holhausen by on the inside. Holhausen will try to hold off contact on the 65 of Martin as the 32 of Edwards was to the high side. And it looks like a little bit of looseness out of the 37 of Tim Bills. Take a look at the battles, and ladies and gentlemen, look who's in the top 10 in 8th position. The number 8 of Derek Robinson, tied for second in the series points. Again, I believe started 27th on the grid here tonight. Has worked his way back through, and these boys are fighting hard. As it now looks to be 20 laps remaining as they head into lap 106, and Robinson getting some contact there from the 29 of Dale Owen. The 37 of Tim Bills to the high side. Single file line in the first 5 drivers, as Holhausen is the cutoff to the top 5. The 32 of Menard's machine of Trevor Edwards looking on. Impressively, the 5 of Rolfe holding off the 91 of Majeski. Majeski looking to the outside, Rolfe to the inside. Out of 4 into the front stretch, into lap 108. Into the backstretch they go. Trevor Edwards just ahead of the 37 of Tim Bills. Holding on to 6th position, Holhausen. You can see the 32 Menards machine approaching from behind, as well as Bills. Bills, a dominant machine in week 1, has fallen off. Had a week off. Oh, looseness there from Edwards as he came out of turn number 2. Running that high line here tonight, Robinson. Trying to get up into 7th position. Next time by, it's going to be the 10-lap mark to go, and Schaefer Jr. with a 0.4 of a second lead. Rolfe's going to make contact with the wall. In the backstretch, Majeski's going to look to pass him on the inside. Nice little battle for second position as they cross the start-finish line, and Ty Majeski with 10 laps to go. Or excuse me. Boy, my math is off tonight. Thinking of 120, folks. Get a chuckle out of that one. Into lap 111. So it's 15 laps to go. How about that? Now across the start-finish line into lap 112. Ty Majeski looks again to the inside of the 5 machine of Rolfe. Patience is the factor here. We saw some impatience out of the 91 of Majeski, which cost him a chance at battling Schaefer Jr. for the race lead. Can he pick up a second position finish here tonight? That's going to be the question. Or has he burnt too much off that tire and has to play conservative? Aggressive maneuver now out of the 91 machine. Heading towards 11 laps to go this time by as Schaefer Jr. Still with a 0.4 of a second lead into turn number 1. It's his race to lose at this point, folks, and the 5 of Rolfe is going to find some life out of turn number 2 and open up a gap with him and Majeski. Majeski's going to swing it wide. Rolfe yet again trying to find more momentum out of that lower groove across the start-finish line. Schaefer Jr. now into the backstretch. Single file line for the top 8 drivers, folks, and Rolf is going to try yet again to close the gap on Schaefer Jr. 10 laps to go. Can the 6 machine bring home another victory in the series? Tied for second position in points with Derek Robinson, just 9 points behind Josh Deeds. And tonight, Josh Deeds currently running 20th position. This is going to help out Schaefer Jr.'s chances at a shot for the points lead. Coming out to race number 5 here tonight. Majeski to the high side, Bill Martin behind, Holhausen behind Martin. Across the start-finish line, 8 laps to go. This is going to be a doozy, folks. Can Rolf put out a nice competition there for the race lead as we see a good battle here between Tim Bills and Trevor Edwards. 2 extreme lines different run tonight. The 37 to the high side, the 32 to the inside. Bills into 6th position, trying to hold on to that as Edwards trying to give him a battle. Still back in 8th is Derek Robinson. Looks like Schaefer Jr. is too much for the 5 here with 6 to go. As he now over a half a second lead over Rolf. Rolf's going to try to cut the track yet again. 5 laps remain here at Irwindale, race number 5. And the 6 and the 5 battle up front. Bill Martin's trying to catch Ty Majeski. Rolf credited tonight with 1 lap led. 4 laps remain, folks. The point of no return. If a caution flag flies, this race is done for tonight. Let's hope it stays green. Knock on the wood. Grab your rabbit's feet, folks. It's 3 to go with Schaefer Jr. in the lead. Cruise control mode for the 6 as he heads into the backstretch. Half a second race lead. Majeski's going to turn it up a notch on Rolf. Here comes Bill Martin in the battle for 3rd. 2 more laps the next time by. The white flag's going to fly. And Majeski looking a little loose. Here comes the 65 of Martin, trying to chase down that 91 machine. Rolf, the only driver making that inside groove work here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the white flag's in the air. 1 more lap to go here at Irwindale. And the 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. has just 2 more turns to pick up that checkered flag. Here we go. And Majeski's going to go with Rolf to the inside. To the checkered flag, Joe Schaefer Jr. picks up victory here at Irwindale. Matt Rolf will finish 2nd, Ty Majeski 3rd, Bill Martin 4th, and rounding out your top 5, the 87 of Derek Holhausen. Nice little battle here tonight, folks. Let's take a look at the race summary as the boys come down to the start-finish line. 5 lead changes, 3 cautions on the night. And there it is. Give it up for your race winner, the number 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. in the Joe's Racing Products Pathfinder chassis machine. Picks up victory number 2 in the series. First one came out on the 13th of October at the Old Dominion 116 Richmond International Raceway. It's 116 laps at that track, and Schaefer Jr. came away with the victory there. Schaefer Jr.'s had scored 2 poles in the series, folks. Scored 1 back at USA, and last week at Lanier, he was on the pole. No surprise, this guy more than likely will go to the series points lead after the end of the night. So we'll bring up the top 10 results on your screen as we'll look to get an interview there with some of these guys as they make their way out of their car into the pit road. Let's see if we can get an interview with Ty Majeski here momentarily as we're waiting for these guys to get in here. Go ahead and move to the 2nd place finisher on the night. The number 5 NOS machine of Matt Rolf comes in 2nd position. Matt, Got to tell you, you had one of the most unique lines here tonight, really working that inside groove, the apron at times, nearly touching the grass, I think at a couple times there. What factor was that in setting up a setup that was going to take you that low on the track in the hopes possibly was it to cut the track, maybe to catch some momentum? Because we saw the High Line had a lot of great momentum there out of turn number 4. Tell us a little bit about it in your setup here tonight.
Well, we had a good setup last week at Lanier. Derek Robinson dominated that race, and he had a setup that worked even on the bottom at Lanier. So we just took that same exact setup, made a gear change, and maybe very, very minor adjustments, and it was able to roll the bottom pretty good, and I kept working my way lower and lower, and then we had that first long green flag run, and I ended up going down to the apron a couple times, and it was half a tenth to a tenth quicker at times on the bottom down there, so I just kept it down there, kept rolling. Every once in a while I had to pull up and kind of get momentum back up on the high side, but the inside did plenty of grip, which is really refreshing because a lot of times here it's a one-lane groove on the outside. It's pretty hard to pass, but it was a lot of fun running that inside.
Definitely hard work done here tonight. Not a lot of early momentum in this series, but you definitely find your way in it with a nice runner-up finish here tonight in race number 5. What can we expect out of the 5 car going forward?
Hopefully more runs like this. I think we've hit on something with a good setup here lately. So next week we go to Milwaukee, one of the bigger tracks, and we had some decent setups there early on in the season when we went to New Hampshire, so it should be pretty similar there, and then we'll go back to short tracks after that. So I think we'll have a lot of momentum going forward.
We look forward to that, especially heading into race number 6 next week at the Milwaukee Mile, one of the few tracks that we get to see a lot of racers go to, and it's going to be a unique track there as well. So hopefully to see some great things out of you. Is there any thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give for your runner-up finish here at Irwindale?
I just got to thank my teammates here, T4X. We've really been hitting some good setups here lately across all the divisions we run here at SARA, so it's been a lot of fun these last few weeks, and got to thank some of our league sponsors, especially GM Parts XPerts. They're the main sponsor of the series, and all the associate sponsors that are coming up. To round out the season, we have some sponsors that have signed on board to cover the cost of those events, so we'll be seeing more of those sponsors coming up here, and as always, thanks to you.
Good job here tonight. We look forward to seeing you next week at the Milwaukee Mile.
All right, thanks.
Little flip-flop action, folks. Typically, we get the third-place finisher here tonight, but since he wasn't available, we'll bring him on board now. The number 91 of Ty Majeski joins me now. Talking a little bit about the race here tonight. Ty, you got out there and ran up front for 56 laps. Total lead here tonight. Car looked like it was on a rail until around the first pit stop. Then you had to battle around the second, third place slot all night long. Rolf was able to get around you. Tell us, what's the thoughts on the race here tonight for you in your perspective?
Yeah, the biggest thing with this track is track position. It's so hard to pass here at Irwindale. I knew it was going to come down to whoever got out of the pit road first was going to win the race, and that ended up being Joe. Just kind of luck of the draw there on the pit stops. iRacing kind of seems like they randomized it a little bit, and unfortunately came up on the short end of the stick. And Rolf got by me there. He dipped on down to the apron. He never actually passed me, got onto the apron. And he was actually ahead of me, and then the caution came out just at the perfect time. So I lost another spot there, but all in all, a solid run.
Well, with a performance like that and running that blank yellow machine here tonight, hopefully you can pick up a nice sponsor there on your car. Are we going to expect to see the 91 next week when we head into the Milwaukee Mile?
Hopefully. Hopefully I won't have too many racing requirements in the real world, so hopefully I'll be able to make it.
Well, it's a pleasure having you here tonight. A heck of a job done. Again, 56 total laps led. Can't bat your eyes at that. Nice third-place finisher here, podium finish. Is there any thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give?
Just my teammates on the posse. We worked pretty hard on the setup earlier today, getting it pretty close. Feel like it was a race-winning setup if the cars would have just played a little bit better in our hands. So shout out to all those guys.
All right, Ty. Well, congratulations on a third-place finish, and hopefully we see you next week taking on the Milwaukee Mile.
I appreciate it.
All right, folks. Well, we got our runner-up finish. We got our third-place finish. We're going to go live now to the driver of the Joe's. The Joe's number 6 machine. That is the Joe's Racing Products Pathfinder chassis machine of Mr. Joe Schaefer Jr. And Joe, 2 pole sets in so far in the series, picking up victory number 2 here tonight at Irwindale in the series. You got to be happy with where you stand coming into tonight, 9 points behind Josh Dietz, who ended up finishing around 20th position. Definitely going to help your shot at surpassing him heading into week number 6. What's your thoughts on tonight?
Well, I guess I got to give some of it to luck. Me and Matt got out of pit road ahead of Ty, and if we would have had to pass Ty on the racetrack, it would have been substantially more difficult. But we had a great setup that could run the bottom, and if you're going to win one of these races, you got to be able to do something that everybody else can't. And we were great running the bottom outside the preferred groove, and I think that's what paid off.
We've seen guys like Matt Rolfe talking about the bottom there, running the extreme bottom underneath the apron there. At times, did he start to put pressure on you there towards the end, or did you feel like, with about 10 to go, you pretty much had it on lock?
Well, I was a little worried, but if I'm going to have anybody behind me like that, it'd be Matt. I just knew that I was going to, if I could just stay just above him, he might get to my door, but I was going to carry the momentum off the corner, and he would have a heck of a time getting around me.
Well, you're able to hold him off and pick up your second victory here in the GM Parts Expert Super Late Model Series. You got to be happy with that. Heading into next week to the Milwaukee Mile. What are the rarities that we find out here on iRacing that people get out there and race? What are your thoughts on where you might finish next week?
It's my home track and won one of the features last year, so I'm pretty excited to go back.
Hopefully you'll be able to bring the car to victory lane for a third time in the series. Is there any thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give for your victory here tonight at Irwindale?
Definitely want to thank all my T4X teammates, especially Derek, for throwing together the setup. Made a few tweaks, and it was exactly what I needed. And, sim racing or not, it feels good to finish ahead of the best short track driver in the country. So it was a solid night. Well,
there you have it, folks. All right, congratulations to you, Joe, and we look forward to seeing you next week in race number 6.
Thank you.
What a night of racing, folks. 125 laps here at Irwindale for the Irwindale Outlet Mall 125. Something we hope in the racing world we don't ever see happen out there. And again, the controversy still continues, hopefully past 2017, and hopefully Irwindale will see a 2017 race season. Results on your screen. Joe Schaefer Jr. picks up victory number 2 in the series. Matt Rolfe will finish second. Ty Majeski third. Bill Martin fourth. Derek Holhausen rounds out your top 5. Tim Bills, Trevor Edwards, Derek Robinson, Dale Owen, Wade Wookard will round out your top 10. Looking on back, Clay Snyder, Cody Erdman, Jeremy Adams, Mason Dunn, Devin Rogers through 15. Ian Lane, Ben Nile, Matthew Eddy, Connor Blaze, Josh Dietz, series points leader with a tough finish back there in 20th. Russell Berry, Scott Naslin, Brad Carpenter, Cameron Hobbs, Scott Dunlap through 25. Ty Spearman, after that incident there, will finish 26. Michael Baxter, David Krikorian, your pole sitter here tonight, will fall back to 28th. And rounding out the field tonight, the number 11 of Kenneth Drake. Special shout out to the sponsors, folks. GMPartsExperts.com, quality GM parts. Find them on the web at GMPartsExperts.com. Callaway Investments, HydesPride.com, H&H Sign Supply, Area 52 Designs, and Toxic Media Solution are the sponsors. Race number 6 to come your way next Thursday night at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, folks. However you got us here tonight, whether it is out there on iRacing Live, on YouTube, or even Twitch TV, we thank you for tuning in. I'm Dustin Caldwell saying thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you next Thursday night here on the Digital Forge Broadcasting Network.